the fields. From the ice to the turf, we'll break it down. Discussing every win and every loss in town. We'll talk about the Canucks and the Lions. We are your irrational fans. We are your irrational fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live with episode 114 of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, Jake Hughes, alongside the old man. Old man, how are you doing today?
I am doing so incredibly well that life is good. You know what? People keep asking me, and I'm like, besides the little scare I had last night, can I tell the little scare I had last night?
Yeah, of course.
I was driving home from work, brand new car, just bought it 2 weeks ago. And driving down the Deerfoot, if anybody knows Calgary, it's our highway, Highway 2. And boom! That's what I heard, except it was really louder. And my sunroof exploded, and rained glass down all over me. And the poor lady driving behind me her car got covered in glass. She pulled over, actually. So yeah, that was my day. It was weird. There was no rock, there was nothing to cause it. It just went boom. Scary.
I mean, it sounds like it was at least an interesting drive home.
It was. It definitely was an interesting drive home.
Well, looks like our guest is just about ready, so I'll let you do the pleasures of introducing our guest for today's episode.
I can do that. We have the absolute privilege, and I call it a privilege. Oh, as I lose my camera again. Can you still hear me, Jake?
Yes, we can still hear you.
As long as you can hear me, I'll fix my camera in a minute. We have the absolute pleasure of bringing in one of the CFL's all-time favorites, at least one of my all-time favorites. Played 11 seasons in the CFL for the BC Lions, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and the Edmonton Elks. Did he play on the Elks or the Eskimos? We need to ask him.
I believe it was the Eskimos at the time.
Might have been the Elks. Bring him in.
Bringing in Manny Arcenaux. Manny, how are you doing?
Man, what's going on?
We are dealing with technical problems, but we are glad you are here and able to join us.
Yeah.
It's just the old man that's dealing with technical problems.
That's when you get to a certain age, technology just starts not working with you. So, Manny, welcome to the show. What have you been up to since last time we talked? I believe it was probably close to a year ago we talked with you.
Yeah, it's been a while. Just raising the kids. Got 3 boys now. Coaching youth sports. Coach receivers and did a little bit at the private school here, Legacy Christian in Frisco area. So it's really just trying to grow my performance training with the youth in this North Dallas area and just keeping busy that way. Now that it's life after football. So it's been fun, smooth transition. So that's the best part about it.
That's always nice. It's always nice to hear that there's a smooth transition for players post-football career. If it is, in fact, post-football career.
Yeah.
We did see it.
There's a cryptic tweet yesterday, Mr. Manny. What's going on?
When I say I need to come back for one more year and get year 15. Now, I just be joking, man, but still staying in shape. But it was one of the ones I thought about, man. I'm like, you know what? I really could have played that 15th year. And I was like, man, the Chris Jones really cheat me out of just one more year of football. Because I knew the whole time Edmonton needed them an interior R wide receiver. And none of the guys really just were cut out for the position. They just going through people, knowing what worked. And everybody thinking, like, what about Manny, the vet? He can groom a guy, get the next one ready. But, Jones probably was in his ways of, nah, I'm good. I'm going to make it work other than letting things work how they should, try to squeeze a square into a circle peg. But I was like, yeah, I think he cost me 1 year of football. But I was like, I'm kind of fresh, body feeling better. Can I give me about 6, 7, 8 more games under my belt? One of the teams can call me right before playoffs or something.
Well, I mean, I know as a
Yeah,
Lions fan myself, we'd love to have you in the receiving corps, catching some
yeah,
more
but
balls.
yeah, man, but that's what it was. I just like, camp rolling around. Let me get in the mindset of like as if I was about to go play, but nah, I'm just staying in shape just for peace of mind,
Of course.
health. Yeah, but nah, I really could come play a season. Just let me skip training camp and all that part.
No one. I don't think there's a lot
Two
of people who
days.
enjoy those two a days.
Right, nah, but now they do these things like power practices when you practice, quick break, go right back at it, and you're done. It ain't that old school stuff. Practice in the morning, lunch, go take a nap, come back when it's its hottest. So
Make
nah,
you
it's all good though.
make you run until someone yaks on the side of the field.
Right, yeah, but yeah,
Looks like we have the old man back. Old man, are you with us?
I'm trying.
Oh,
Holy
well,
look
at
like
least
it's
you're
one.
trying.
At least I'm trying. Holy crap. It's just been one of those days. I don't know if you
Yeah,
heard, Manny, but my bought a brand new car and the sunroof exploded on it. It was
dang,
crazy.
how that happened? That's wild.
They don't know. They're trying to say it was a rock, and I'm like, there was no cars around me. It couldn't have been a rock. It was just boom. It was weird. Just one of those
Yeah,
things. One of those things. So sorry, I missed a little bit there, but I've been following you really closely on X or Twitter or whatever we're calling it this week. And I've
yeah.
seen a lot of videos of you working with the kids. That must be really exciting for you.
Yeah, nah, that's kind of my thing now, man. And it's just something that I enjoy, really working with the youth, working with athletes, being able to mentor, being able to give them nuggets, gems, and just share the game and
Nice.
how it go hand in hand with life. So now that's been the best part, fun part.
That's awesome. Are you actually, but you're coaching a team as well, are you not? So you probably
Yeah, I
already
have
covered this, didn't you, Jake?
yeah, I have my youth organization, the Mad Squad, that I'm
Yeah.
coaching, Manny Athletic Development. So the sports team is called the Mad Squad. And I coached this past fall with the Legacy Christian Academy out in Frisco, private school, middle
Oh,
school, and high
nice.
school football. So yeah, so I'm kind of getting the hang of figuring everything out. Like this summer rolling in, and now they starting spring. I'm trying to make time for that, but also be able to run a business of training youth athletes. So just
Yeah.
getting the feel for how everything might work without also spreading myself too thin,
Yeah.
being able to help. So I think that's the biggest thing now is I just look at what it is I cut back on, what it is I remove myself from. That way I can still focus on family and doing the things that it is I enjoy.
Nice. Now, coaching, that's kind of in your blood by the sounds of
Yeah,
it. If there was a phone call coming up to Canada, would you do it?
100%.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, but it's one of those things, man. You just sit around, make your relationships, um, continue on with life because you can't always play, but that's why you're allowed to coach. That's why you're allowed to mentor things to keep you in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be one of those things, man. But I'm fine with the fact retirement has been good to me. I've been enjoying it, so I don't have any regrets, man. I'm one of them. They say play till you can't play no more or
Yeah.
until they get rid of you. And I was like, I guess I'm one of them guys where I was able to walk away from the game, body feeling better, almost in better shape than when I played. Just
Nice.
physically fit, good mind, spiritually, mentally. And that's the best part, being able to walk away from the game after 11 in Canada, but 14 total years. I
Right.
say it was a blessing.
Now you can tell by looking over my shoulder who I'm the fan of. Obviously, BC Lions. We love the CFL, but we
Yeah,
diehard BC Lion fans.
right.
Your time in BC was your favorite. Was that like? Should we
100,
even need to ask that
look,
question?
100%. I need to catch up with Neil. Them. I'm still waiting to do my little 1 day contract so I can retire officially as a BC Lion. where
Oh
my
man,
career started, and looking to get something done. Waiting to schedule the dates for my fourth year youth athletic development with Impact Hockey out
right,
in Langley. So I'll be
right.
there for that. So if I can coordinate the time and the dates, it'll be good to do that in person if I'm already gonna be in town
How
for
cool
my
would that be?
3 to 4 day camp. Yeah, man. So now BC, I believe Black and Orange. That's the place where my career started. Almost ended, but I just kept playing for 5 years after that.
They said you
Yeah,
couldn't
so
play anymore. You had to prove them
yeah,
wrong.
right, yeah. So nah, it's all good, man. BC, beautiful place, man. Good
Oh,
people, still
yeah,
to this day. So yeah, I have nothing but love for BC and pretty much all of Canada. All of Canada was good to me during my career afterwards. So nah, that's like a second home.
nice. Now, Jake, I'm sorry I missed part of the beginning here, but you saw that we have the new commissioner now has been announced.
Yeah.
Did you ever get a chance to meet him prior to this, or?
Man, not that I know of. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. Have we crossed paths? Maybe, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So nah.
Give
But
us
one
your
of these
thoughts.
days, I get.
What's your thoughts on bringing a guy from like a business guy, a sports business guy, in to run the league?
It's all about growth, man. And with TV deals, with the social media, with name, image, and likeness, and all these things, I think he might be a guy that want to get players involved in the business side, commercials, and just growing the game. Like you turn on ESPN, you see all the NFL players and different people. The content that's really growing the game. I think that's something he can probably look into. And there's a whole lot of ideas that have been bounced around, passed around, and different CBAs. So I think he coming in at a good time with
Yeah.
the CFL as it's on the rise, on the incline, other than coming into a league that was on a decline where things were just going south. So I think it's a good little time, man. Randy did what he could, then the PA. They've been stepping up, doing a great job with Sullivan, Mimian as president, and the guys that's under him. So honestly, I think the league is in probably one of the best shapes it's been in since 2009 when I entered. So
Wow.
um, and that's
Nice.
kind of how I look at it. Yeah.
That's you know what? As I've been a CFL fan from day one. I don't remember not being a CFL fan. Grew up just blocks away from the old Empire Stadium, um, and was there all the time. So when I hear
Right.
someone say this is the best the league's looked since 2009, I agree. It's been just.
Yeah.
I just hope we continue to see that expansion. Do you think we'll ever see expansion back down to the States again?
I doubt that. Yeah, I probably wouldn't look forward to it, and I think that'll kind of take away from the CFL game in general, being that you have the NFL, the UFL, IFL. I think having a Canadian Football League in Canada, um, yeah, that's where it need to stay and that's where it need to be. If
Yes.
you ask me, but if they wanted to do some sort of expansion, hey, give it a try. But I was like, if it ain't broke, why not fix it? So why not try to change up something that, you know, been
Expand
around?
in Canada. We have room in Canada to grow this if you
Yeah,
wanted more teams.
surprise. Right. Get them one of them Halifax teams or something over there when Toronto or SAS them go play at the Maritimes, whatever it's
Yes.
called. Give the people something. But um, time will tell.
Nice. Jake, you got a questions?
One question I have is, we were
Yeah.
just talking new commissioner. If Manny Arcenaux was given the power of commissioner and a magic wand to have one wish happen for the CFL, what would that thing be for the league moving forward?
To match the pay scales of the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, nah, but that would kind of be it. But man, really take care of these players, man. While they're in the game and afterwards, it'd be nice if it was some type of plan as far as just medical and all those things where people are just covered long term, but kind of match the whole landscape and layout of the NFL. Especially as a veteran guy that played, you know how it is. But
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing you would like, man. It's just guys have this short window of time to make as much money as possible. So if you could increase all that and then have the benefits, I think that would be outstanding. Being that most guys leave Canada, come back to the U.S., and you just want to be able to make sure you're taken care in North America, period, whether you're in Canada or in the U.S.
It kind of shocked me. I'm trying to remember the player's name that I sat with at Grey Cup. Jake, do you remember who I sat with? I'm blank. Antonio. It was through Orland Bruce. I met him. He knew you. Receiver. I'm blank. My goodness, I hate when I do that. But he was telling me how because he moved back to the States, there was literally nothing, no connection for him to the league anymore, which I find just bizarre. You look at hockey and they have their alumni associations all across the league. Do they not have that at all for the CFL?
Some of them had a little Facebook groups and different things of alumni, but most guys when they leave, they gone. The CFL always growing the league with new talent, new faces, new people. So it kind of phases out the guys that paved the way, unless you like the BC Lions that bring a lot of guys back that time into the community, that have those events to make people feel welcomed, so that if you ever put on the black and orange, they're going to find a way to recognize you, acknowledge you, and keep you in the loop. And that's something that the CFL clubs would have to do. And I think the CFL in general is kind of like the NFL, man. They have those games early in the season. Like I get letters now to go to the Vikings to where it's like, hey, this will be the game on September, whatever, fly out, hotel, this or that'll be covered. But it's for the alumni guys to come back and always reconnect with former players, former teammates. And that way, you still recognize, you put on the helmet, the gear, and you went out there, sacrifice whatever it was out there to give the fans a show. So it would only be right to still have that ongoing relationship with whatever organization you previously played for.
Yeah, I agree. I was kind of shocked. I was just one of those, He paid his own way up for the Grey Cup and he had to buy his own ticket to come into the Grey Cup. And I'm just like, that's crazy. That's crazy. They should be bringing you guys, especially for the Grey Cup. They should be bringing up, especially, I'll use the word stars, players, because they draw us fans in, obviously.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So they get a return on their investment. Hey, man, you know what? We have the season opener, this person performer, but it's alumni night. Hey, man, we're going to bring in G-Roy, Manny Arcenaux. We got Paris Jackson, just names of people. Travis Lulay. Those guys, Corey Banks, Dante Marsh, just Solomon Elamimian, Jovan Olafoye, and the game that Friday, that Thursday, fly in, the autograph section, do everything, something with the kids, man, they gonna make a
I would
ton
fly
of
in
money.
from Calgary for that shit.
Yeah, it's gonna make a ton of money because those jerseys is what once filled the stands, and them people still have those jerseys. So
I mean, he's got the saying, I've got Claremont. There's players that people just connect with from super young ages that they're like, oh, man, he's going to be there. Well, you know what? It's worth going down to the game for that.
Right. Yeah. That's just something where you have alumni night, man. You know what? We're going to fly in 10 of our alumni. You know what I'm saying? And sold plenty of tickets, filled these seats up. Yeah. And that's what we're going to do. And some guys play multiple teams. So you can show face in other places, especially if it was a big name. And that
like
ain't
a Manny
nothing for the CFL to do. Look, really can show up in BC, Sass, and Edmonton.
There you go.
Look, did numbers in BC, helped shift the culture in Sass as a mentor. Tom Pate Award winner with the Elk. So
How
You
many
know,
how many years did you play in Saskatchewan for?
I was there for 2019.
Oh, okay.
Then
That's just
COVID
the 1
hit.
year.
Yeah. Yep. Then COVID hit. But yeah, my name should be pretty good anywhere throughout the CFL, whether I played there or not, because it was always about the fans. And that's what the
Yeah.
Manny Show was, engagement with the fans, whether it was in person, on Twitter, on Facebook. You know, I was always accessible and didn't mind having those conversations and interacting with fans.
That's so cool. And that's why the CFL is such a cool league, because you can, as a fan, interact with their stars. Where down in the
Yeah.
NFL, that's just not happening anymore.
hmm
They're too big. Too big.
Hey, some folks just don't want to be bothered.
Well, yeah, of course. And I can understand. Up here, you have maybe 100 fans wanting your autograph. Down there, it's
Yeah.
5,000.
But one day ain't nobody gonna want it, so you better enjoy it while you can.
Manny, I'm going to leave it with this. I don't think that day is ever going to come when somebody doesn't want a Manny autograph. Come on now.
Oh man, look, I just gotta keep finding ways to make an impact. But I was just blessed, man, that my impact off the field was just as big as it was on it when I played. So
That's cool. Well, my friend, thank you so much for giving us some time tonight. If you do end up getting that one day contract with BC, let us know, because
yeah,
we will fly. We're in
100%.
Calgary, but we will fly down for that.
We'll make it a point to be there.
Okay, cool, no problem. Yeah, look forward to that. And I'm quite sure, man, if everything goes as planned, you know, BC and those guys around there make sure to do it the right way, give folks a heads up. Now, knowing that folks would possibly come in and getting
Awesome.
it done. But yeah, I know the idea was brought up last year when I was out that way with my camp and went by the facility and was able to see Neil and those people. And that was the whole thing of like, well, we can't acknowledge you if you don't retire. Because I'm like, hey, man, I'm number 3. I'm behind, you know, Jim Young and these people. And I'm like, why ain't in this ring of honor? Why nobody ever mentioned Manny Arcenaux? They was like, well, you keep playing, so we can't recognize a player that's still active and haven't retired yet. But yeah, so hopefully everything works being there. Yeah, because it's just Leroy and Jim Young in front of me right now.
Is that
Everybody's
it?
favorite. Yep, I passed everybody's favorite Mervin Swervin Fernandez. So so I'm like, if he was one of the favorites and he's a Hall of Famer, then
What the hell?
Chiro and all them. I'm like, where do I come in the conversation at?
We
Yeah,
gotta
but
start a campaign here.
man, look, I'm trying to tell you before everybody forget that I played. But nah, man, it's just awesome. Just being able to go back to Siri when I can, when I'm out there, and it's just good, man. You know, you look on the wall, guys I played with, played against.
Yeah.
Nah, it was just a blessing. You know, I was blessed. I was lucky, and I'm just appreciative of that.
Well,
Just,
in
you
your
know, to
time,
the
there were
end.
so many big names playing as well. It
Yeah.
wasn't like you had it easy.
Yeah, nah, it was look, and the quarterback situation, staying healthy was hard. So I really had to earn all those yards that I got. Because you never know what week who was gonna be throwing it. You know, Lule was a grinder, he was a scrapper. He out there sacrificing his body. You know, it's like trying to patch him up to make sure he healthy. So I probably had the most quarterbacks throwing to me and probably one of the most like I don't know. It was hard because you got to think, man. Guys that had Ricky Ray, they knew they had Ricky Ray.
Well,
Guys
yeah.
that had Anthony Calvillo, you know you had Calvillo. You got to think if you had Henry Burris, you had Henry Burris, and you just look around the league, man. It wasn't that little musical chairs with a lot of quarterbacks because those star receivers at the time, S.J. Green and Fred Stamps, and you looking at Nick Lewis and man, it was a lot of folks.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Owens, all those guys, Dressler with Durant, they knew who was throwing them the ball every single week. You know, so
You were like, who's playing today?
man, look, and you got to think, none of them blocked how I had to block. Nick did towards the end of his career. I was in Bomber Pro. doing a whole lot. So that's why I was like, man, looking back at it, I was like, I really believe I had a Hall of Fame career with everything that I had to do
Hell
that
yeah.
didn't get the recognition and the hand claps, But nah, it's just cool, man. But I'm looking forward and finding ways to still get back in the CFL game, through social media or just interviews and
I think
things of
one
that
day
sort, man. So
we'll see Manny behind the bench.
look,
It's a hockey
that wouldn't
reference.
be a bad idea. Look,
Yeah.
it'll come. Folks know what I'm about. They know what it is I bring to the table, player,
I mean,
coach,
every
support
team
for 'em.
needs that receivers coach.
Look, I know, right? Well, at least they know where to find me at, so I ain't hard to find.
There
So,
you go. Make
yeah.
sure you stay not hard to find, and let us know if they bring you into BC. We'll be there.
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Okay,
Thanks so
take
much,
care, my
Manny.
friend.
All right, bye.
That was Manny Arcenaux,
What a
formerly
great
of the
guy.
BC Lions, Saskatchewan, and it was the Edmonton Elk at the time.
Oh, I was meant to ask him, is it the Elks or the Eskimos?
Was the Elk?
Right, because it would have been after COVID.
Yeah, it was during I think it was during the lockout, or not the lockout, the COVID year that they rebranded.
That's right. Yes, that's true.
So
Makes sense. What
But
a great guy.
just a fantastic dude to come on, hang out with us for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just shoot the ass about football and his career. And you missed it, but basically the entire tweet was sort of in jest.
Yeah.
The one more year. But it's also one of those, hey, if you guys blow through 3 receivers, I'm in shape.
And he is. Look at him. I mean, if you watch his videos when he's training the kids, he's not just sitting drinking a beer training these kids.
Not just that, the video that he quote tweeted you on this morning.
Yeah.
Did you see his workout?
Oh, it's insane.
It's ridiculous. I do a quarter of that and I'd be dead.
What a great guy. I just love the man. I was a huge fan of him playing. You missed it. Yeah, no, I look forward. I hope BC Lions are doing the right thing and bring him in, give him the one-day contract, let him retire as a Lion, and then put him up on the wall.
Yeah.
You don't have to retire his number. Just put him up on the wall.
No, and one thing that the conversation kind of got away from it, where he was talking about the new commissioner and the commercial deals and that sort of stuff. 4 days ago, May 5th, the CFL announced a Bud Light sponsorship. They are the official beer of the CFL.
It's big.
Which I was going to say, it doesn't sound like it's a big thing, but Bud Light is huge in the using their connections as influencers.
Yes.
And I hope that they start to do that with the CFL talent.
Well, bring them on. Like, use the CFL talent on the commercials. Like Manny was saying, the image likeness, the image likeness. What is it?
NIL, name, image, and likeness.
Yeah, like let's make these guys stars, because they are. We don't need to make them stars because they are stars. But put them on the spotlight, like the NFL does, like hockey does, like every other freaking sport in the world does.
Well, and I'm hoping, honestly, with the new and updated, hopefully big increase in media rights, that of course the money will be split 10 ways, more than likely, between CFL head office and the 9 franchises.
Yeah.
That'll give those franchises those opportunities to do those alumni nights.
Well, yeah, right.
Pad their bank account so they can bring in 10 guys every year.
How cool
from
would
10,
that be?
10, 15 years, and just say, hey, we're going to do autograph signings out front where, like, I'm thinking for at BC Place, Terry Fox Plaza.
Yeah.
Shut down the road.
Exactly. Like, just
shut down the roads.
Have
a concert out front with the local bands.
Yes.
Different tents for each person. Make it free for the autographs, obviously.
Yes.
And, like, McMahon, you do it in the parking lot.
Party time.
Right? Like, people are already there tailgating. You just add another booth Like you just add a stamps booth and you have two alumni there,
It's not
and you
hard.
make it a big deal every time,
Yes.
right? Like,
Yeah.
but
And I mean that they need to start recognizing the past of this league. And I wish I could remember the gentleman's name I sat with.
I honestly, while you struggling there, I tried to go back.
2011.
Which
That's when
team?
BC. He played with AB Arland Bruce. And Anton
McKenzie?
Yes. He wasn't a receiver. I know. I said he was a receiver. He wasn't a receiver. He was he not a cornerback?
No,
Corner?
he was a linebacker.
A linebacker. Thank you. Yes. I wanted to bring him up because I know we talked about Manny during the Grey Cup. So, but I couldn't remember his name. I apologize, Anton. I know you're watching our show.
Anything else in the world of CFL that you want to talk about?
You know, I'm getting so freaking excited as we get closer and closer to season kickoff here.
13 days away from preseason game number 1.
Yeah, it's, as you know, and most of the people listening know, I had season tickets for a long time. And I'm so tempted to get them again this year, but I don't think I will. I'll just go to a bunch of games when I'm available, just because of things happening. And so,
well, and the nice thing with that is you don't feel obligated to go to the games that you can't make. Like you're not like, oh, I have shit. What am I going to do? Like, oh no, I can go to this game. And especially at McMahon, like there's a lot of seats available. You could decide an hour before the game and get seats on the 50-yard line most of the games.
Well, it was funny because I was talking to somebody about trying to get us media passes, and I'm like, I don't even want media passes so I can go and sit up in the media booth.
No,
I want the access to the players the day before, or the day
week
up.
leading up. The week leading up, usually you get access 2 or 3 days before, like 2 or 3 days leading up into the game.
Exactly. Like, don't give us access to the media room. I'm good with that. We're not. I guess we're not big enough, but I just want
to be able to go into the media scrums.
Yes.
And talk to the players before the game and get their expectations for the game. And
you'll be able to get more of a flow to the season when you're literally talking to the players every week.
Yep.
Different players every week. Yeah, it'll be stamps heavy, obviously, because we're in Calgary. But we'll be able to talk to the BC Lion players when they're in town, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, Edmonton, Winnipeg, all of them.
And the nice thing is with my job right now, my schedule is very set. Like I could tell you what I'm working in 3 months.
Exactly.
Which means I can be like, okay, these games I can't go to. I can't even go to these because I'm working. But the 2 weeks after that, oh, cool. I have all those days off. I can be there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday for a Saturday game.
Exactly. Right.
So,
and think of the coverage we could do with that kind of access. Even doing video interviews and being able to play them during our show. And it would just take us to a different level. And we're selfish. It is about us. We want to take this to the next level, but it's also about creating content. And a lot of people who watch us are not CFL fans.
Yeah.
They are hockey fans. And to be able to carry that after hockey's done and get them interested in the CFL, who knows? Maybe they'll go buy a ticket.
Even if they don't, even if they just listen to us every single week, and it goes from not knowing or caring about the CFL is to tuning in once a week just to find out what's happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what that turns into? Is, the playoffs are happening. Well, now I know all the storylines and I know all the things leading up to it. I might as well check out one game.
Yes, right.
Because I guarantee you, if you go watch, for the most part, a CFL playoff game, you will be interested in CFL football if you are a fan of sports.
Football. Yeah.
A fan of sports. Because you get the dramaticness of sports. It's a faster game than the NFL, which a lot of people hate.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people love it because it's the best on best, and that's why they're not always moving. But it's a faster game.
Yes.
It has to be a faster game.
It's a way faster game. Yes.
If they could cut out a quarter of the commercial breaks, I'd be happy.
Oh, yes.
But
that's
yeah,
revenue.
and maybe if the streaming service is the one who picks up the media rights in a couple years,
then we're not going to get that as
you'll
much,
get
right?
limited. Maybe you'll get no commercial breaks.
How cool
Right?
would that be?
You get a quick 30-second stinger for the newest show on Amazon Prime or Netflix.
Yeah. Cool.
Right?
Let's go. Yes.
But
definitely.
shifting gears, anything else in the CFL world other than just pure excitement?
I am. I'm starting to really get excited. I want to do a show where we literally break down week by week. And I don't know if we'll do predictions. Maybe we will. Maybe that would be a cool thing to do, is like literally break it down and do our predictions way out, like this far out, and we'll write them down.
Predicting the 2025 CFL season 4 months before kickoff, or 2 months before kickoff, month before. How many days? Yeah, there's only 20 odd days left until the season starts. So
yeah,
we do it. We can do it next week or the week after.
Yeah, let's plan that.
I
like it.
Okay, moving into some some NHL news.
CFL.
Hockey news. Let's not call it NHL news. So let's start with this.
What you talking about,
Let's
Willis?
start with the active NHL Canadian teams, because the Leafs, Oilers, and Jets have all made it into the second round of the playoffs. Leafs won. The Leafs won last night. The Jets won a very dramatic Game 7, double overtime in Game 7. I was excited and like celebrating, and I wasn't. I was excited for the Jets, but it's not my team.
No, and it was funny because being downtown, I literally heard 17th Avenue like loudly when they scored the tying goal with 1.7 seconds left. There was a roar because just off to my off my balcony to the right is 17th, and you got Trolley 5. That's a big place to go and watch hockey, and then you have Brown Social House on the other side. And I heard the roar. It was that. What was that?
Well, so I was at my partner's uncle's house for a family dinner. And the game was on in the background. We had all just kind of finished eating dinner, and it was about 5 minutes left. No, it was 2 minutes left when they scored the second goal, bring it in with one, and we're like, okay. And then the audio wasn't even on, and they were trying to figure out the audio. There was something wrong with the box and the machines. It was just dead quiet. Everyone was just watching the TV. Everyone. And when that, like, at 13, 14 seconds, they were like, okay, it's over. And in the back of my head, I want to say it's not over till the horn goes. And it didn't come out of my mouth because I'm still new to the family. I didn't want to say anything, but...
You don't want to start a fight.
But that deflection goes in from Perfetti, and everyone in the house goes, oh! Like, everyone was so excited, and it was like a natural reaction. And then we watched the first overtime there. And then we were like, oh, we can make it home from the south of Calgary to the farthest northeast of Calgary before they score. As we were pulling in, parking, Lowry takes the shot from the point, and it goes in. I'm like, God damn it.
Oh, really?
We're listening to it on the radio at least, but...
Well, that was like 9 minutes left only.
Less than that. It was like 4 or 5 minutes left.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, yeah. It was an exciting game. It was a fun game to watch.
Game 7 of hockey is just, there's nothing better.
It's just been even, what game was, even last night's game, the Leafs game. The intensity now is just, and it's funny because not having any skin in the game, I haven't really been paying that much attention. I obviously watch a little bit here and there so I can actually talk about it when we go on the air. And really, that's the only reason. But watching that Leafs game yesterday, I was excited for him. I was like, this is cool.
Well, even
Jake asked me a question before we came on air. When's the last time the Leafs made it past the second round? And I was like, well, it has to be 1967. And he's like, no, never.
never, ever. And even watching like the Oilers and Vegas game today before we went live, I have it on in the background here. Again, that intensity, it's like nothing you get in any other sport. And I don't mean this to be mean to any sport, because I've had this argument with many people, but the Stanley Cup playoffs is the hardest playoff format to win.
Yes. Oh, but there's other sports that you have to win. You have to win the 16
basketball's the same way,
games
but basketball's not as physical.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. In the playoffs, it's a lot more physical than it is regular season, just like hockey.
Yeah, but not to the extent.
And the
hockey is.
argument I always hear is, oh, well, baseball's really hard to make it into the playoffs. Yes. Baseball is the hardest, has the hardest playoffs to qualify for.
Yes.
But then you play one baseball game a day. When these professional athletes can literally play 2 in a day and be totally fine.
And drink beer while doing it.
The professionals don't.
Oh, okay. I wasn't a professional.
Did you get paid?
Well, when I was umpiring.
Well, that's different. That's not playing.
And I still drank beer when I did that too, just so you know.
Oh boy. But yeah, so right now the Oilers are down by 1 late in the second period here against the Golden Knights.
Oh, okay.
Like I mentioned before, the Leafs won their first game yesterday, and the Jets play their first game tomorrow, I believe. So by this time next week, we'll be midway through the second round, which is wild.
Yeah. What's your predictions? Let's start with the Leafs. Do they make it past the second round?
I think, and it has nothing to do with the Leafs curse and everything. It's simply Florida's team is just. There's not a lot. I don't think there's a weakness in that team. Their depth is ridiculous as it is. So.
Yeah. Tend to agree. Oilers.
I think the Oilers make it.
Yeah. I think it's going to go deep. I think it's going to go 6 or 7. But I'm taking the Oilers. I think the Oilers as well.
Jets and Dallas.
Yes. I'm going to take the Jets just because I think they've got by that first hump, and they've got that confidence going. So really comes down to goaltending for the Jets.
I was just that was going to be my caveat is if Hellebuck even gets back to 50-50 on playing away from MTS Center. Is it still that?
Who was it that was, which goalie was puking last night after he got freaking hit in the head? That was Leafs goalie.
Yeah, who ended up going to the hospital.
Yeah, like he got hit and he said he was fine. And you could see it didn't look that bad the first time I saw it.
And this whole he did it intentionally. No, he didn't. He was not even looking where the goalie was. He was skating.
It was an incidental contact, but it was
100%.
Still contact, right? Right? You're responsible not to hit the goalie. So
do you think
but he played for 10 minutes or so after that, then skated to the bench and puked. At least he got to the bench and puked in the bucket. Did you watch the players around him as he was puking?
No, I
by
didn't.
The way? Sorry. It was freaking hilarious. And nobody commented. I thought Kevin was going to comment on
at that point, they're like, hey guys, we're more concerned about how bad of a concussion it is.
No, they're like,
no, I meant the analysts, not the players.
Yes. No, the players were like, I don't know which player it was, but you just see him go white and go. Ooh.
Do you think that Bennett should have received supplemental discipline for that? There's no penalty called on the ice.
There was no penalty called on the ice. Was it a hit to the head on a goalie? Yeah, it was. Was it intentional? Probably not.
Was it in the blue paint? No, it was not.
He wasn't in the blue paint. So We missed all kinds of
Oh,
comments,
probably.
by the way. I didn't
Well,
have my
whose fault
chat
is that?
up.
You're responsible for one thing on the show.
Oh, the Q-Man's correcting
Huh?
us, by the way.
Huh?
Way to go. I hate when you say something
Huh?
and I trust you.
What did Q-Man correct me on?
Leafs made it to the third round in the 90s versus the Canucks. 94. He made it third round in the 90s versus the Canucks in 94 and the Kings in 93. There we go. Q-Man, I trust you more than I trust that man over there. Over there. Where is he? He's over
No,
there.
we flipped
Nope,
we
he's
flipped
that
your
way.
camera around so people can read your jerseys and everything, and it screwed you all.
And it messes with me every time. He's over there. And he's not. He's actually on the other side. He's that way. Anyway, I can't understand it.
What's the other series? The Carolina
Kings in
No,
93 and the Canes in 01.
We're moving past that.
We're moving past that. He doesn't care. He hates being called out.
We're going back to what we were doing before.
He's not going to read any more of your comments now, Q-Man, because you've upset him. He does this.
Can I continue my thought process now?
Yes. Go ahead.
We are predicting the outcomes of the 4 remaining
Yes.
series. The last one we haven't talked about is
So
the Capitals and Canes.
Oh, I was just doing the Americans or the Canadians.
There's 3. There's only one other series left.
Oh, I'm picking the Capitals.
Yeah, I think so too. The Canes did win in overtime tonight. Before we went live, but yeah, I think the Capitals are just that good of a team.
Who are you picking for the final?
Jets and Capitals.
Ooh, wouldn't that be something? Canada would be on fire. Talk about a whiteout. The whole country.
I was going to say the thing is Edmonton loses to Vegas or the Jets. It'll take them 2 or 3 games to get over it, and I get it. But no one hates the Jets. It's not like there's like as a Canucks fan, there's no chance I could cheer for Toronto to win.
Yeah,
Calgary and Edmonton. Very few fans diehards are going to be able to cheer for each other's teams. Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal.
Yes.
Those 3 teams aren't cheering for each other. Winnipeg, everyone's like,
Gotta feel bad for him playing in Winnipeg. We gotta cheer for him.
So
until they put on the blue helmets, and then we don't cheer for them.
No, that's completely different. They're dynasties, so it's fine.
Yes, that's right. We're a dynasty. This show is a dynasty as much as Winnipeg's Blue Bombers are a dynasty. Carry on.
We're really good at almost having a really good show. But we failed in the last quarter.
I wasn't going to say it.
Moving on, more Canucks-focused news. Canucks ownership group changes. As Paolo Aquilini departing from the Canucks ownership group. Paolo is the youngest of the Aquilini brothers. He was responsible for most of the philanthropic side of the Aquilini group.
For people who don't understand what he just said, that's the charity side.
Well, it's not just charities, so that's why you have to use the proper terminology.
He practiced that word for a half hour.
No, I did not.
Here, folks.
I know it's shocking to people, but I have quite an extensive vocabulary. I just don't know when to use it. The words are in here. They just don't know when to come out. But this his departure from the Canucks comes at a time when there are all sorts of rumors swirling around the Aquilini group and potentially selling or not selling or listening to offers and figuring all that out. We talked about that last week, so I don't want to dive into it, but
interesting timing is all I'll say.
Interesting timing, but also if you're having to split that, how do I put this in a politically sensitive way? Luigi the godfather, I mean the head of the Aquilini group, is old
Yes.
and isn't getting any younger.
Yes.
And if there was something that happened to him, his health hasn't been good. It has been on record for quite a while that he's been declining quickly. If he was to pass, how do you split up a Canucks organization that's worth around $2 billion between all of the kids? Would it be easier to sell it before he passes so that way you could have the money just to hand it around? It's very common when it comes to real estate. In trust, it's a lot easier to sell that real estate and then just split the money rather than, oh, well, this kid gets the house and this kid gets all these assets worth the same amount. The Aquilini group doesn't really have that kind of pieces to equal out the $2 billion that is worth the Canucks could be worth on the open market. So lots of interesting dynamics there still.
So I'm going to go back. We talked about the and it's going to go first full circle. So bear with me. We talked about the Canucks wanting a practice facility. Funny that today I read that the BC Lions are looking to build their new practice facility in Richmond.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because anybody who knows Vancouver knows that Richmond to Vancouver downtown is not that hard to get to. It's down one street. You're down Cambie and you're right in downtown. So I wonder if those two organizations could get together and build something together and make it a legacy project even, where you're building more than just you're building the football field, but beside it, you've got a hockey facility.
So the reason I was shaking my head throughout that is the most recent reports from Rob Williams, who's been on this practice facility for the last half a decade, is that every time they get anywhere with a city or partner, they go, okay, cool. Yeah. We'll put our logo on it and you build it, right?
Oh, that's what the
they don't want to put any of their money into it.
Well, that's why I think if they work with the BC Lions,
so Mardoman's going to build the facility. Why would he? What benefit is it for him?
No. It could be a dual facility, like to build it together, and that way the Aquilini is not covering the whole entire cost. It's a dual venture.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It is possible, but that idea has been floated with, like, even with municipalities chipping in a large portion, and they've turned it down.
See, it's going to kill us. It's going to kill our team, and
until
they're going to
this organization is sold.
Yeah,
there's I don't think it's possible.
Just drives me crazy that there's one team in the NHL that doesn't have this.
And it's not like it's not like, oh, we announce it this offseason and it's ready to go for 25, 26. No, you announce it this offseason. It's not ready for a year or two. Right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
You've got to build it.
Well, no wonder players don't want to come play here.
It's not a shock at all.
Right. It's similar. I mean, I always, I'm the CFL guy. I take it back to the Stamps trying to recruit players. It's really tough for the Stamps to try to recruit players when their facility is so inadequate. You look even BC Place or up the road at in Edmonton. You look out, Saskatchewan built a new facility. Winnipeg built a new facility.
And all of these new facilities have practice facilities, right?
Yes, right.
And now BC's building that, or looking at building a practice facility.
Well, they can't build anything where they are because they're in the middle of downtown.
And that was the argument for so many years with the Aquilinis. Well, where are we going to build?
Yeah, build it in Richmond. It's not that far away.
Build it in Abbotsford. Really? Like, it's a 45-minute drive. No.
Well, that's where BC has their training facility in Surrey, but it's just too far away. And if you've driven Vancouver at any time of the day now, it's busy. So that's why they want to put it in Richmond. And there's a lot of land out there. There's a lot of open land in Richmond. So it wouldn't be hard to do. Anyway, way off topic.
But that kind of leads into this next point, because lots of rumors on potential coaches and narrowing it down. Manny Malhotra, the coach of the Abbotsford, is still near the top of the list. But another name that kind of appeared kind of off my radar is Adam Foote, getting interest from multiple NHL teams to be a head coach. And the Canucks are pretty well up on this as well.
It's funny because the only time I had it, the first time I saw it was that Taj, T-A-J, on Twitter that we both don't like. I stopped following him now, but it still pops up every once in a while. Said, and that would be the worst move the Canucks could make. And I went, so it's good. So, yes, Taj, you're an idiot. So I had to go and look. And he's up there. He's probably even might be ahead of Malhotra.
Yeah, my only concern with that is that clearly Malhotra's a good coach.
There's no doubt about it.
We don't make that move now, and we hire Foote, or we hire any of the coaches that are out there right now, Woodcroft, and they last 3-4 years. Is Malhotra waiting around in the AHL for 3-4 years?
Probably not.
So do you look at it from an organizational standpoint and say, like, we thought we'd have another 3 or 4 years with Tocchet. Do we now just say, okay, the plan was always to put Malhotra here, let's do it now?
Or do you bring him in as a assistant?
He's already been an assistant coach in the NHL. So it's tough.
It is.
I don't envy Rutherford and Alvin in this situation.
Either one, to me, if they take Foote or they take Malhotra, I'm good with either one.
The only thing my only concern is that if it's truly in regards to EP40, if it's truly a regard of the style of coaching that Tocchet was doing didn't work for him and he couldn't focus on being the all-star, because that is now something that's been popping up and speculated. Foote is literally in the ilk of Tocchet, except Foote was a defensive player to begin with, so it's going to be a more defensive structure than what Tocchet had. Is that EP40's strength?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Malhotra, on the other hand, was a defensive forward, a defensive center. EP40 is a great two-way player, but we need him better in the offensive end. Could Malhotra bring in those, bring that out of him with his style of coaching? That's my only concern about Foote. I think he's a great coach otherwise, but that's also if you keep Petey. Right?
Yeah.
So
right. It'll
definitely
be interesting.
And then talking about Manny Malhotra, as we are wrapping up the show here, the Abbotsford Canucks. That's why I said it's not just the NHL, it's also just hockey in general. The Abbotsford Canucks are tied at 1 in their second round series. Again, because it's impossible to watch the AHL unless you pay like $80 a month for some stupid reason.
Got to change that. I actually follow what's his name on the friend of the show. No,
was it Blake or Matt?
Oh. No, neither. They live tweet it. Patterson.
J-Pat?
No.
Yeah,
J-Pat. Thank you. He's
been
does a live tweeting.
He's been actually doing so. He normally does the rink wide for the Vancouver games, and he's doing it after every single playoff game for the Abbotsford Canucks. So,
Yes, that's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
very involved, which is great because I listened to his show and then I also watched the highlights the next day. And Danila Klimovic, I put it in the bumper here. Really making an impact in the second round. Was kind of quiet in the first series. Clearly didn't have a point. Only had one shot on net. In the first two
Wow.
games, he's had 8 shots on net and 1 goal.
Nice.
Obviously, in the loss would have been nice for him to be able to put up points, but he's had a couple good looks and a second rounder who's got some upside. Would love to
Yeah.
see him keep going in this playoffs. So the
Very
next
cool.
game, when is the next game here? The next game is the 7th, tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time in Abbotsford. So if you're in Abbotsford or the Fraser Valley area, go watch them. The last time the Abbotsford Canucks had a game on a weeknight, there was like maybe a quarter full. So tickets are usually pretty cheap on game day.
Yeah.
Get
out,
It's
watch
going to be. I believe it's supposed to be a beautiful day in the Vancouver area. It's supposed to be beautiful here tomorrow. So
yeah, 25.
Go watch
tomorrow, so.
the Abbotsford Canucks. Hopefully, make a run here deep in the Calder playoffs. Be really nice to see some success for the Vancouver or the Canucks franchises.
Yes, we can hope.
Anything else from you, old man?
No, I'm good.
Well, thank you so much for tuning into the show. We appreciate it. Thank you so much to Manny Arcenaux, the Manny Show, for jumping on, talking what he's been up to. Hopefully, he will be announced to be some sort of Ring of Honor or at least retirement with the BC Lions. And I was just looking this up. It's actually 1 day from a year ago of him announcing his official retirement. So happy 1 year of retirement to Manny Arcenaux.
Wow. We should have looked that up before and could have sung him happy birthday.
I don't think it's a happy birthday. It's something, but it's not a happy birthday.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary.
And on that note, folks, you can follow us at HSP_pod on every platform. Check us out on TikTok, YouTube. We'll be posting some shorts throughout the week. The best thing you can do is hit that like button, share it with a friend, let them know that you're listening to us. You can also listen to us on all the podcast platforms because is that what you're doing? I thought you were having a stroke or something, but
I'm glad
I
you
wanted to get through
cared.
the extra exfil before we got the exfil. The extra. You know what? We're just stopping with words.
Bye now.
The big vocabulary when the words don't know when to come out. Have yourselves a wonderful night. Mwah. Goodbye.